Welcome to Fierce Encouragement. This is the podcast where we tackle life's struggles with boldness, wisdom, and some practical tools. Now, my name is Mark Walker. I'm a life coach. I'm a meditation instructor. I'm also your guide to navigating the messy middle between where you are and where you want to be. So here at Fierce Encouragement, we blend modern science and timeless wisdom to help you master your own mindset, to cultivate that inner balance in your life, and also to take those courageous steps towards your goals and projects. So whether you're a leader, a new leader, maybe a learner, or just somebody who's ready for some change, well, this is your space for some real talk and some powerful insights and some fierce encouragement to help you live with purpose and confidence. Thanks for being here. Hey, thanks for taking the time and listening to today's episode. Today's episode, I'm going to talk about, if not now, when? I just want to reframe this idea of I'll wait, or I'll wait when the timing is right. I want to reframe that into this spirit of action. When we find ourselves saying, I'll wait, I want to inspire us to say, I need to take action. So we all tell ourselves that, right? I know I do. I'll do it later. I'll do it when I feel a little better, when the kids are out of the house, or when the kids are in the house or out of school. It feels safe. It feels reasonable. It might even feel responsible to say those things and protect ourselves. But what if we flip that around? What if we flip that script around, especially on the things that matter to us? What if instead of saying, I'll wait, we said, I need to take action? So today, we'll break down this illusion of later and try and work on some tools to rewire our thinking so that action becomes automatic for us, not just something to be postponed or pushed away. So why do we default to this idea of I'll wait, or I'll wait when the timing is right? Well, I think the first thing that pops up for me when I think about that is that illusion of stability or certainty. We assume that life will get easier, or we'll have a season of less chaos, or work will be more predictable. And I just want to say that as a father and as somebody who worked in the IT sphere and many other jobs, and obviously works as a full-time coach, I just want to tell you, it won't get more stable. It won't. So we have this illusion of stability, and I think we kind of joke ourselves thinking that our time will get easier, less chaotic, and maybe in some cases it will. But for the long picture, we'll never really have all the time we need, or all the stability and balance that we crave. So I think that's one reason why we kind of defend ourselves with that objection of, oh, wait. I think a second thing that we could kind of look at on why we default to waiting is that comfort of avoidance. And we've kind of talked about this in some recent episodes as well, but waiting feels safe. It kind of protects our brain. It protects our certainty, if you will. Doing something that's outside of our comfort zone is risky. It feels risky. I think if we looked back, though, and we took a quick audit of our life, all the things that we were successful in, all the things that we made progress in, they came after discomfort. They came after the discomfort of change and that idea of getting out of your comfort zone. Progress requires discomfort. So comfort of avoidance, it's easy. We can fall into that. I think progress requires discomfort, though, to a degree. And finally, we kind of have that comparison with others. So we might look out into the world and see someone who had waited, or we infer or think that they've waited for a while or kept waiting. And then they changed when they finally took action. So it's this comparison that we don't have those skills. And that's why we default back to that idea of avoiding embarrassment and having more stability by just, staying less chaotic, letting it be more predictable. It won't. Progress requires discomfort, and we need to let go of the comparisons where we think others haven't struggled through the same things we're struggling with. Those are real world examples. I'd like to do a reframe on this. And so instead of saying to ourselves, I'll wait, I think we could reframe it all just by saying the words, I need to take action. If we can catch ourselves saying, I'll wait, and instead saying, I need to move now, that's a big shift. We have to catch ourselves saying those words, I'll wait. And really the power of this is in the micro momentum, the micro movements, the tiny habits that we can build up. Small actions in our lives, I've seen this time and time again with myself and that of my clients and the people I've connected with as a strength trainer. Those small actions, those, hour-long sessions 2 or 3 times a week, those 10 to 15 minutes a day, really learning the material that you're working on with me or with your coach or mentor, those create big shifts. So think about small actions creating big shifts in your life. Done consistently, they can really fundamentally change your day and obviously your week, your month, your year. Progress isn't about needing to be ready. It's literally about starting before you have that need to feel ready. It's about starting when you don't feel like it. So the power of those micro moments, those micro momentum, big shifts come in small packages, and starting before you feel ready. That's kind of the challenge here. So I think we could reverse the thought patterns and reframe this into I need to take action. So instead of I don't have time, say to yourself, I will make time. Instead of saying, I'm not ready, say to yourself, I get ready by starting. When we reverse and reframe these thought patterns into empowering thoughts, well, we literally rewire our brain. That thing we avoided becomes the pathway out. When we find ourselves saying, I'll wait, we can use that to ask ourselves if it's very important, then take action. A tool I wanted to share here in the last little bit of this podcast is a mental toughness tool that I've kind of synthesized from different tools and practices that I've learned over the years. Is called the finisher's lens. So the initial preliminary step is to get relaxed, calm down that nervous system with a few deep breaths. And obviously, if you're rolling down the road and operating heavy machinery, please don't do this. Instead, just take a few deep breaths with your eyes open and relax. Now, I want you to zoom out. This first step is I want you to zoom out. If you're about 1 year ahead from today, what would you wish you had started right now? Think about that for a few moments. If you were 1 year ahead, what would you wish you had started today? Step 2, I want you to zoom way out. If you only had 6 months left, what would suddenly matter most? It can be discomforting to think about this, but it's really good to get clarity. Zoom way out. If you only had those 6 months left, what would suddenly matter to you the most? Be honest with yourself. We think the material things, and they are important, money and material, but we often at that last few laps of our life, it's the connections, it's the people, it's the friends, it's those moments. So remember that. We need to remember impermanence and let that help guide our life in a virtuous way. So that's zooming way out. But this last step, step 3, I want you to zoom way back in and thinking of today, a day-tight compartment. And if you're in the evening, that's fine. What would you like to get done? Pick one thing that you would like to get better at and take a micro action on it right now. So if you want to write the book, can you write a page? Can you write a paragraph? What's one micro action you can take right now on the thing that you'd like to get better at? Pick one thing and do that today. So this is the tool I call the finisher's lens. We want to zoom out. We want to zoom way out, thinking of a few months left to live. And then we want to zoom way back in and pick one thing and take that micro action today. When we want to embed that shift and that change and that new lens into our lives, we can also kind of take these higher attitudes or these higher tools to finish off this so you can have something to apply. The first thing I like to call with myself and my clients is that 24-hour rule. So if you're journaling about something and talking about something that matters to you and wanting to make some progress on it, take action within 24 hours. 0 excuses. If something truly matters to you, take that action within 24 hours. Send yourself a text. Send yourself an email. Don't make any more excuses on it. And if it's not that important, let it fall away and put it on a backlog list or something that you want to do this year or this, next few months. But take that 24-hour rule and apply it today. Take action on those things that matter to you within a day. The second thing I'd like to just talk about quickly here to helping embed those shifts into our life is that accountability hack. You need to find someone who can support you, that'll encourage you, and maybe check you a little bit. They will really help you make progress much faster than if you were to do this alone. Tell someone what you're doing. Ask them to check in on you. And then finally, I think that daily check-in, that daily stand-up. I come from a Scrum Agile background as I did that as a product owner. But I think a daily quick check-in, whether it be on text or a quick phone call, is important. And if you don't have that, ask yourself if you can get a co-coach or somebody that's in the same area as you. Or if you really have to, check in with yourself. Open up that journal and ask yourself in writing, what am I waiting on? What am I moving on? So do that 24-hour rule. No excuses. Have that accountability hack. Tell someone what you're doing. Check in with them. And if you can, do a daily check-in with them, with another person, or even in your journal, asking yourself, am I waiting or am I moving? This is really hard work. When we find ourselves saying, I'll wait, and kind of challenging that, it can be a place where we get really frustrated. When we just name that feeling, name that thing that's coming up, where we find ourselves hesitating again or making excuses about waiting, just understand if you find yourself in that modality and get frustrated, just name it. When we do that, we actually bring on a different part of our mind that can help us experience it and help us with that anxiety or overwhelm or burnout or frustration. Acknowledging these feelings can really help us reduce that power they might have over us. And like we mentioned before, just break it down into manageable steps. Make it workable. Zoom out, zoom way out, zoom back in. Is it something you can do in 24 hours? Get that support with an accountability partner and do that daily check-in. And then simply, if you have something that needs to be done, you have the 24-hour rule, but apply the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, just do it immediately. Do it immediately. This technique helps so many people overcome that initial resistance to starting tasks. If they have a big email inbox or something they're trying to attack, just apply the 2-minute rule. I wanted to share a quote from Brian Tracy, one of the productivity gurus from the 1980s and 90s, and even on up until now. I believe he's still around and still with us. Brian Tracy said this: keep pushing forward. Once you start moving, keep moving. Don't stop. This discipline alone can make you one of the most productive and successful people of your generation. When we start to encourage ourselves like that, be disciplined, decisive, and just keep moving, taking action, and finding out what is underneath our emotions, what thinking is underneath our emotions, and then challenging it with some of the reframe techniques we talked about above. You need to move now. I need to take action now. I will make time. I get ready by starting. Such wonderful tools. If you're not going to take action now, when are you? And if not you, who? I challenge you to take that one micro action today on that important project or that important relationship that you want to invest in. Now, I help people step out of that inaction into activity, and I would love to connect with you and support you on your projects. I help a lot of reluctant leaders, especially tech leaders, take action instead of waiting. And there's an application on the show notes if you're interested at all about stopping this waiting and to start moving forward in your projects. and in your life. So feel free to tap the application button, fill that out. I will personally review it and get back to you, and we can schedule a free call where we can go through and just give you a quick strategy session on how you can move away from inaction and getting into that modality of I need to take action now, and using it to create big shifts and having that power of momentum in your life. Again, this is Mark Walker. I really appreciate you sharing your time listening to today's podcast. Let me know how this landed with you. Of course, I love to hear from my listeners all the time, but I hope you have a great day, a great evening, wherever you're at, and thanks again for sharing your time. This has been Fierce Encouragement. This is Mark Walker. Take care now. Bye-bye.